What's up, guys? It's Jason Overthink Gaming. I want to revisit Revenge of the Bird King. I made 2 videos on this previously. It's been a year. There was stuff I forgot to put in the videos, stuff that I learned, questions I still have. So I wanted to revisit the series because we need our questions answered. And this has to be one of the scummiest stories ever. I want to start this video by talking about the people that are going to be involved in the story. First one is Metal Jesus. If you're watching this video, you should know who he is. He's a popular retro gaming YouTuber. Metal Jesus is so popular that he's often criticized in his hidden gem videos for fluctuation of game prices in the used market. Metal Jesus is also known for controversy, whether it's when he asked his audience for $50,000 to cover expenses to tour the US in an RV bus to collect video games, visit shops, visit fans, or the time that he hinted to his audience that it was going to cost him $10,000 to fix a leak in his game room basement. Next, we're going to talk about Kelsey Lewin, which is part of his crew, the Metal Jesus crew. She's a YouTuber that's done countless videos with him. Also, she runs a retro gaming store there in the Seattle area where Metal Jesus is from. And then we're going to talk about Josh, who is co-founder of Limited Run Games, and then the indie developer, Joe, who works for Limited Run Games. Limited Run started out as a small indie developer and they wanted to publish their own games, so they started doing that, and that's what they became now. They basically seek out other indie devs that can't publish their games, and they'll publish them for them. I don't like their practices of making small quantities. It's in the name, Limited Run, and just charging a lot for them, and they target collectors. That's where I have an issue with it. But anyways, let's start the video by going back to October 10th, 2019. So October 10th was a Thursday. It wasn't a random Thursday. This was planned out. Let me explain. So this Thursday, Joe puts out a tweet that he's gonna sell this PS4 game on eBay. Joe says, "I put a copy of Revenge of the Bird King for PS4 as a charity auction with 100% of the sale to benefit Game History Org." Now that sounds like a good thing. This is gonna benefit charity, man. Like, what is wrong with that, right? So the game hasn't created hype or anything. Not everyone's going crazy. I'm like, okay, this is innocent. The game's auction ended 1 week later on October 17th, 2019. This was all planned out, not random, and it ended up selling for $1,100. That was a total of 76 bids. But if you look at it, it says benefits charity. There's nothing wrong with that. It all goes to charity. I went to Joe's tweet and clicked on Game History Org just to see who these people were, and I found out they were the Video Game History Foundation. They are a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving, celebrating, and teaching the history of video games, curated by Frank and Kelsey Lewin. So clicking on this, I find out that it is the Kelsey, the co-owner of Pink Gorilla, Miss Metal Jesus crew herself. Oh man, something just sounds fishy about that. It really does. So the reason why I say that date was picked exactly 1 week, October 17th, is because that was the day before the Portland Retro Gaming Expo. The Portland Retro Gaming Expo in 2019 was from October 18th through October 20th. So October 18th, that date was planned, the day of PRGE. Not only that, they were gonna sell the game. The hype is already created. So by selling the game on eBay, they made a price for it. They put a setting price for what the game is worth. And I believe that was artificially created. Now, I know some of you guys are gonna be like, Jason, you can't artificially create the price of a game. Yes, you can on eBay. If you have a set of friends that would help you out and do some bids, you know, make the game go up. Let's not do $1,000. Let's do $1,100. So it's not so obvious. You guys are probably still like, nah, people don't do that shit, right? Well, one of the members of the Metal Jesus crew is Radical Reggie. I love the dude, man. He's awesome. He stays away from all the bullshit. He's just straight up about games, and he makes a lot of videos just with a podcast style with his friend X, man. And I really like what they do. On one of their latest videos, X asks Reggie the question, like, who controls the prices of gaming?
Who do you think controls game prices? Mom and pop game stores, GameStop, or eBay?
Definitely, I feel eBay, because what it comes down to is that when everybody wants to know what a game is going for, where do they go?
Yeah,
they always go to eBay.
Yeah,
they go to eBay completed list. Well, I got to see what this is going for. You know, GameStop usually has their set price on stuff,
right?
But eBay is where that's pretty much where everybody goes. I've seen it so many times, and the craziest thing about going to eBay and seeing what stuff is going for is that people have used it to their advantage in a way. So, say for instance, like a game usually goes for around $10 $15. They'll have one guy sell the game on eBay and have a friend buy it for a higher price, and then everybody thinks it's going for that price, so they follow suit, and that's where you see the raise in game prices and everything like that. So it's pretty crazy. It does suck. I mean, I wouldn't want people to fall into that. You know, obviously they got to be patient if a game is not what they want to pay for it.
Right.
But that's just how it is, man. I mean, eBay is where everybody goes. Simple as that.
There it is, man. So, all right. So it's the day of PRGE, October 18th. So Metal Jesus puts out a video in the morning like he always does right before the convention. This is a Friday. You got to remember, Fridays aren't the busy days. It's Saturday and Sunday. So before the convention starts, he creates the hype of the game. Now that we have the price of what it's worth, you know, this is just following a blueprint, which you'll check out right now. We're going to have to watch the Metal Jesus video that he put out that created the hype, that made people like me and other people learn about the game. And we're going to see, was this artificially created? Was the hype really put there? We have to watch this video to get the answers. So in this video, I want you to listen for the keywords, the buzzwords, you know, the words that are going to make people feel like they're missing out. FOMO, fear of missing out. And the target words to collectors, he does it right at the beginning. Check it out.
Sometimes game collecting can be a really weird hobby. Case in point, some of the most rare and expensive games are not necessarily the best games, although sometimes they are, but often they are games that either got canceled or have a low print run, or there's something really weird about its release. Maybe it was ignored and now 20, 30 years later, everybody wants it, and so it gets, you know, expensive. And you guys know how it is, right? Because like one of the most rare...
All right, so right there, he goes ahead and talks about if a game is canceled like years later, like everyone's gonna want it. That's basically what he was saying. He's building up this Revenge of the Bird King, and look at what he compares it to.
And collectible games of all time, at least on the NES, was stadium events. And the story of that goes is that Nintendo released it, at least in the Pacific Northwest. It came out physically here. Some people bought it, but then they recalled them, and of course that just made that game really collectible, and today it's incredibly expensive. Just a few months ago, you may remember that I did a video right here on my...
This is hilarious, saying that stadium events, you know, put out the games in the Northwest and then they put them off and now they're really collectible. It's basically saying exactly the game plan of what this Revenge of the Bird King is. They stole a page from this story of stadium events. It's freaking hilarious. Like, they couldn't come up with anything original.
I recently got an email from Joe, who is an employee of Limited Run Games, and they're kind of in a similar situation like that. Although, not exactly. I'll tell you the story of it. It's actually pretty fascinating. And also this one, pretty much anybody can get a copy of. You just have to go to him directly. And I'll tell you how to do that at the end of this video. Now, Revenge of the Bird King actually might look kind of familiar to you because it's actually based on another game he made called Super Gun World 2. So Revenge of the Bird King was meant to be a follow-up. And actually, it was released digitally on the Vita and also the Switch. And then he goes on to tell me that he paid for a small batch of physical copies for this event as a promotion, but the event was canceled, and that means also that the digital version would automatically be canceled as well. Now, here's something that I did not know, and that is Sony has a rule that if you're going to put out a physical version of a game, they require there also be a corresponding digital version available to consumers, which makes sense. You know, they want to make sure that everybody can get it no matter which way, but since this event was canceled and he no longer had the rights to the digital version of it, well, he stuck with a box of physical versions of the game.
All right, if you notice right there, he says a box, basically saying it's very limited. And it's so funny because are these even legal? Like you can't sell these in the storefront. It's freaking hilarious because he explained with Sony, you need the digital game. Dude, this is all fishy, man.
If you want the Platinum Trophy, the only way you can get access to that is to own a physical copy of this game. And already he's starting to get interest from trophy hunters who are looking for some of the most exclusive and hard to find trophies in the world. That would be right here on this disc. So it's probably safe to say that this is one of the more rare and hard to find PlayStation 4 games that are out there. But the good news is that Joe owns all the copies and he's willing to sell them to collectors. The deal is he just can't do it through any sort of official means or official storefront because, again, he doesn't have that corresponding digital version that Sony requires. But, you know, that's cool if you want to get one of the toughest games to find, or if you are a trophy hunter on the PlayStation, this could be very tempting for you. It was even me, it's like I normally don't care about trophies, but when I unlocked them, I was like, wow, I'm probably one of, you know, less than a dozen people who have that. That was pretty cool. So if you want to get yourself a copy of this, Joe doesn't mind if you reach out to him via Twitter. He's also going to be selling these at expos like the Portland Retro Gaming Expo or some of the other ones that they attend. So again, just reach out to him, he said, via Twitter, and he'll get back to you. And I don't know, maybe you can get a copy.
So there, guys, the hype is created from this video. That's when everyone learned about Revenge of the Bird King. So PRG happens, and people go apeshit online. That it starts trying to hover around that 1100 mark, going a little bit lower because that's too much, man. But people were biting on this, that it was a rare game. People were trying to buy all the stock, and it got sold out. Now, there was a video that surfaced. Not many people have seen this video, but it's gonna be of Kelsey and her husband. So her husband is like looking for the game. It's sold out there, but Kelsey's got the hookup, man. She's got the hookup. I can't believe this video got surfaced. You got to see it to believe it. Check out this video and tell me this isn't fishy. Check this shit out.
I looked that up. Okay, cool. So what do you got, Chelsea?
I have good news for you from Joe. It's limited run.
Right?
It's not in my hands
Those are our
yet,
last
but
three.
we will
I knew it, because I asked him, I'm like, hey, do you guys have one? He's like, oh no, we sold out. I'm like, I just sold them back. He says, I don't believe you.
Well, no, he is out of a beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn, I was wrong there.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Well, he had one left for the Friday.
Oh, okay.
But, like, he's literally out of a beer. I'll get you one for sure.
That's Revenge of the Bird King coming your way.
This is not a good look on Kelsey. It looks really bad. First of all the proceeds going to her nonprofit, the Video Gaming History Foundation. Like out of all the nonprofits, charities, wherever Joe wanted to throw this money to, it's gonna go to one of his friends. Hey, the hookup, right? It looks so shady. And then this video right here, I don't know why this video was uploaded to the public, but this video right here shows proof that she had access to the game from Joe. That Joe, all the games that he took there at Portland Retro Gaming Expo was just a small amount, just from the hype from the Metal Jesus video. And if you looked on Twitter, he posted like trying to hype it up, like he was in the hotel room sleeping on the games. He said something like waking up in Portland next to the thing you love. Like, really? It wasn't the games, it's money, because this is a scam. He woke up next to a mountain of money. That's what it was. He also showed a picture of like a little bag full of games. So he didn't take that many, or he was trying to show people like there's not that many games, so you can get it while you can. Come over here. It's so hilarious. And he could have sold them at a player price, you know, a hookup. No, he charged a full $60 for this game that was 9 cents on the eShop. It was such a ripoff, but people were gonna buy it because of the hype. They created the price of $1,100. People were like, this game is gonna be rare. It's gonna be like the stadium events. Metal Jesus did such a great job on hyping up people, saying the keywords to get people to want this game. It's just the biggest scam ever. Next, we gotta look at the events that happened after all this bullshit. So Smash JT took it to Twitter to talk to the co-owner/owner of Limited Run Games, Josh, and he asked him a few things, and I want to read some of the statements that Josh put on Twitter. Revenge of the Bird King on PS4 is not published or distributed by us. Joe pressed copies of his own game for personal distribution because we did not want to publish copies ourselves. We have zero involvement with Joe's physical release of his own game. Of course, Josh was going to say this because it's illegal for Limited Run to sell this, but which was kind of funny, at Portland Retro Gaming Expo, Joe was selling this in the Limited Run booth. So it makes no sense. I guess, whatever, man. Joe has been an independent game developer since long before we hired him, and I allow my employees to continue pursuing their own things while under the employment with me. Any registered developer with Sony can produce a physical run of their own game. So again, we have no involvement, man. It's Joe. I let my employees do their own thing. Like, I don't know what he does. Don't ask me. Because we're trying to focus on more bigger titles, I didn't want to publish his game physically through Limited Run, and I especially do not now. So he ran the game physically himself. He didn't set out with ill intentions. Yeah. I've talked to Joe about this extensively and asked him to find ways to make his game more available. He is starting by selling copies in person in November, and we'll look into sorting on how to sell them online himself in the coming months. All right, so on this part right here, in November, they did do a pop-up shop, which I'll talk about after this. And he did sell a few more games, but the last part that I have a year later, one thing I want to question is what happened to this how to sell them online himself in the coming months? He did never sorted that out. They have never been sold online. It's fucking bullshit. This is a statement we gotta hold him up to. Where the fuck are the online sales? One thing Smash did is he pressed Josh on like how many copies. Give me a number. How many copies did Joe make? Because we saw him with that box. We want to know a number because the minimum you can run is 1,000. But we need a number right here from Josh. And what did he have to say? He would have ran the minimum. You can't go below that. He wouldn't have the money to go beyond that. There's nothing stopping him from ordering more to meet whatever demand exists. I would 100% recommend people do not give into any hype and buy the game at inflated prices. This is PR bullshit. There's nothing stopping him from making more games. Yeah, the demand has lowered, but you know what? It's still not a normal fucking price game. The game is still rare. They did this on purpose. There's no way Joe had any plans of making more games and this and that. This is such a bullshit just to kind of quiet things down, you know, put a band-aid over all the bullshit. This is fucking lies, man. And now Smash JT ended up talking to Joe. He had a private DM conversation with Joe. And this was very interesting. This right here is proof that the shit is shady and full of lies. So the first thing Smash asked was about the licensing, because this seems like some illegal shady shit. Like, is the game licensed? Did you jump the gun? And Joe's response is kind of funny. Look at what he said. The game is licensed and approved digitally. The port was funded by an outside party, and due to a stupid, silly promo release for an event that has since been canceled, I have not gotten the rights to the PS4 port back, so I cannot release it. Okay, yeah, sure. Next, Smash asks a very important question, a question that still has not been answered till this day, 1 year later. What was the name of the mystery event? The event that didn't exist. Come on, let's tell the truth how it is. What was the name of the event? And Joe's answer right here is just proof over the bullshit. Like, it's so funny. This is what Joe had to say. I am under an ongoing NDA and I cannot say any more. No problem on the response, but due to the reaction and the harassment, I'm not planning on talking about this any further for the time being. I hope you understand. I just wanted to clarify your first question. NDA? He was under no NDA. That was a nice way of saying, hey, don't fucking ask me any questions. I'm fucking bullshitting you. This is so fucking scummy. Like, this is so fishy. Like, it's a fucking lie. It's a scam. Now, before we talk about the pop-up shop where Joe sold more games, we're going to take a look at this tweet. Now, this tweet happened on October 18th, which was that Friday, the first day of PRGE. He stated this. For people coming from Metal Jesus Rocks video, I have some copies of Bird King at PRGE. I wasn't planning to, but I reserved a table at the Limited Run Games pop-up shop, so I'll have some there too. All right, he wasn't planning to. He wasn't planning on having more games. Joe, what were you planning to do with those games that you sold over there at the pop-up shop? Like, were they gonna stay in the warehouse somewhere there in North Carolina? Did you have to go dig into the warehouse into your stash? Like, this is shady. These dudes can't even lie correctly. It's funny. We saw earlier that Josh had said there was gonna be more games in November, and then also that there was gonna be some coming online, right? So he ended up tweeting this also on the same day. Heads up, Joe will have Revenge of the Bird King PS4 copies at our pop-up shop event. I still have no idea what he's doing with this game overall, but this is a chance to own it. Sure, he has no idea. These dudes can't lie, man. This is so fishy. People are gonna call this shit out, man. And that's what happened. So they had the pop-up shop event. You know, they made a flyer, looked all nice over here. And somebody had to call that out because somebody there, I feel bad for them. They actually believed that there was going to be some of these games online because not everyone could travel to North Carolina. Not everyone can travel to PRGE. So most people are going to want to buy this game online, right? Unless you're going to pay the eBay prices. This is what somebody had to say on Limited Run's pop-up shop tweet. So on the first day, November 23rd, Limited Run stated this. Our first ever event has officially opened. If you're local to the North Carolina area, come on down to the mall. So this guy right here, Wildside, innocent dude, happened to ask the question there. He asked the question, so will you be selling any of these online? I'm still trying to get the Birdman game. The dude believed what he saw, man. He believed that the game was going to be sold online. Like, that sucks. And this is what Josh had to reply to it. Check this out. Revenge of the Bird King was published by Joe, not limited run. They have to keep saying that. It's so hilarious. They keep saying that. He was selling it at his own table at the pop-up shop. People were buying it from him directly rather than us. The dude is in their pop-up shop. He was selling the games out of the booth. He's selling games right next to them. And they have to say this for legal reasons. It's all fucking a lie. They're like, dude, if you're gonna go with this lie, don't have Joe selling it anywhere near your company. Let him sell it on his own. But no, he's using the umbrella of limited run games, and they already got all these collectors all crazy thinking that games are actually limited. That's what I don't understand about the company. You'll see their games at Best Buy now. Like, what are you trying to be? Are you trying to be limited? I just don't understand their business practices, what they want to become. Obviously, they want to grow, but it's against what collectors think. Collectors actually think that they're limited run. Oh man, they're the biggest scammers ever. Now, I had to look into this because of what Reggie said in the video is what I believe the whole time, that the hype is going to die down and the prices are going to go down. So I had to go to the source eBay and go to the last sold listings. I had to see a year later, like, what are the prices now? As of October 25th, 2021, sold here recently, October 18th. That is way lower than what they were going with that 760 down to 500 back last year whenever, you know, that price was set, that $1,000 price. It's funny, man. And the last other ones were in August right here for 174, 239. And that's it. That's all I can see right now. It shows you right there that the price of the game has gone down. This is fucking bullshit. Like, nobody's wanting that crappy ass game. Now, it's been a year, and that's the reason why I did this video, because there's so much confusion. People kind of forgot about it, and I don't want to forget about this shit. I stopped purchasing limited run games after this scam. I kind of had stopped before, but after the scam, for sure, I just didn't fuck with limited run games. I stopped with all those strictly limited, all those guys. I don't support that shit. But there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered, and I believe in 1 year is plenty of time to answer these questions. The questions I can think of right now are, why were all the proceeds going to the Video History Foundation? I mean, Kelsey was part of that. Like, why? That doesn't make sense. Why didn't Joe take his whole stock to PRGE? He said he didn't plan to sell more. Well, what was he gonna do with the rest of those games? Are they in a warehouse? Does he have more? Did he sell all 1,000 copies? Like, the number, how many copies did he make? How many copies did he sell? That's a question that will never get answered for sure. What was the name of the mystery event? You have dodged the question, Joe. You said you were under an NDA. That NDA has to be over. Is it a lifetime NDA? Are you never going to say the name of the event that didn't exist? What was the name of the mystery event that you guys just don't want to say nothing about? What happened to the online sales? Now, I know the hype isn't here right now, but it was at one time. You guys could have sold a lot more, but you guys chose not to on purpose. Why were online sales not provided or even attempted to? I mean, it's bullshit. We all know that the limited run was like trying to say they weren't part of it, but they were. This kind of ties to the last one, but it was said that Joe has the ability to create more. And he hasn't. He never will. Come on, tell the truth. That's fucking bullshit. He ain't gonna create more. Limited run, when are you gonna tell us the truth about this shitty ass game? I mean, the game fucking sucks. Most people played it on Switch for a couple cents because of the hype, and they uninstalled afterwards. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a long fucking time, a fucking year. Most people have forgot about this game. Most people have just swept it under the rug, but I haven't forgotten, man. And I made this video just to remind people of all the bullshit that went through during last year and now. People know this game is a scam, and all these questions, the way they got dodged, come on, it's time Limited Run needs to answer some questions, and guess what? They won't, because it's a scam. If you guys enjoyed this video, please drop a like. If you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'll be catching you guys soon. Peace out.